Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and I want to welcome you to the PublishU podcast, where we explore the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm talking to Joe Lowther from Richmond upon Thames in Surrey, England, who has written a book called Kick Story. Joe, it's great to be with you.
Thanks so much. Really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So we actually caught up for a real in-person coffee recently, and I discovered that you were a principal of a school, which is something I didn't know. Tell us about
Yeah.
your life and experience as the head of a school.
Well, yeah, I loved having a coffee. How 20th century, it was great to be in person again. And yeah, I previously did a film degree, which doesn't always lead to a career in education, but then ended up doing media courses at a training center for those children, young people not in education, employment, or training. That organization grew from 5 staff to 250. We founded a school as a result, and I became principal of that school. And we achieved an outstanding grade at Ofsted in 2010 for our apprenticeships because we were delivering a lot of post-16 work. And then we also achieved an outstanding grade at Ofsted in 2014 for our Key Stage 4 work as an alternative education provision. So yeah, absolutely loved my time in sort of on that side of the fence. And then at
Yeah.
Kick, I get
So
to
how many
work
years
with
did you
multiple
spend
head
in
teachers.
education?
So I was there for 9 years,
Yeah.
and absolutely loved it.
Wow.
So I was involved in education for 9 years, and then I've been another 9 years at Kick. So it's been great fun.
So Kick is the charity you're now the CEO of, which
Yeah.
does loads of sporty stuff in schools, doesn't it?
Yeah, so our mission is to transform young people's lives with God's love through sport and support. And what that looks like in practice is that we go into schools and we do four things: physical education, street dance, mentoring, and chaplaincy.
Oh, so if I
And
want
then
to
we
learn to
also,
dance, I can come and hang out with you guys.
well, yeah, you can come and hang out with us guys, not with me per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do 15 different dance disciplines. So as things as crazy as Bollywood, Brazilian carnival, street dance, break dance, locking, popping, stepping, house, musical theatre, hip hop. So a
So,
whole wide range of different
so
dance
Joe,
disciplines.
you must have learnt one or two of these dance moves.
I know one, which is the Bart Simpson, and also the RoboCop, but only because they taught they you know I actually
Really?
asked for a history lesson in street dance. You must investigate street dance. They were all the different moves of street dance are named after the nicknames of the
Yeah.
children ultimately on the
Have
streets
you
that
got
created these
space
dance
there
moves.
just to give us a little demonstration?
No, definitely not.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
shame. But
definitely not.
maybe
But
we need to come
I
over
know
with
I know
proper
brilliant people
cameras.
that can.
We
Yeah, I
need to
know
come over
brilliant
with
people
proper
that can.
cameras and get this on your social media, or at least ours. What
Oh,
fun!
oh, it's great fun. It's
I
great
mean,
fun.
I mean, surely there must be some video out there online of you trying these moves.
There's definitely brilliant video online of our wonderful dance coaches doing this. But yeah, that's the point. We when I first joined the organization, we did 6 sports. Today we do 40
Yeah.
different sports or dance disciplines. And one of the things I was very clear on in when we introduced dance was that all our sports coaches were often dreadful dancers. So the idea was to recruit specialist dance coaches and specialist sports coaches that could more uh, uh, you know, faithfully articulate the range of different dance disciplines we do and the range of different sports we do. But for good reason, you wouldn't want to see me dance.
Oh, what a great thought. Well, you've made my day. That's great. The thought of Joe Lowther doing his Bart Simpson. Oh my goodness.
It's a great move. It's a great move.
So, Joe, was it this year somebody said you should do Matt Bird's Writing My Book course?
It was actually last year, last September. I went away on a CEO retreat, and at this retreat, I arrived a little bit early, and I started reading a book about written by a guy called Lance Lambert about the church that I'm a part of and how it was founded, and how essentially the first half of the book is about testimonies of God's grace, a bunch of students essentially founded a church in a manor house worth
Yeah.
millions of pounds, but they renovated it, and God provided all the money to do that. And then the second half of the book was about the spiritual principles that they learned as a result. And as I was reading this, I thought, wow, what a cool idea. Wouldn't it be great to capture some of the testimonies of Kick before they get lost in the annals of time? And and I thought about it for 10 seconds, and then I thought, no, 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 how stupid, what a ridiculous idea. Do not write a book. If everything goes wrong, you're a complete prat. And not, how arrogant of you to even think about writing a book. So I thought, I won't do it. Went downstairs for drinks with the CEO group, and a guy just asked me, how is Kick? And so I just told him some stories. He said, "Cool, this is amazing. You should write a book." And I thought, "Oh, that's funny." I didn't even say to him, that I'd thought about that earlier. I thought, no, I'm never doing that. Then I went for then we moved on to dinner. I sat with somebody completely different. They said, "How's Kit?" Told him some stories. He said, "Wow, you should write a book." And I said to him, I said, "That's really funny." I thought about doing it today, and then I realized what a crazy, stupid idea that would be. I'm definitely not doing it, but thanks for suggesting it. The next morning, we went for breakfast, sat with somebody completely different, said, "How's Kit?" Told them some stories. And they said, "You should write a book." And at that moment, I knew God was speaking to me.
Yeah.
I thought 3 coincidences within 12 hours. So I said, "Can you pray with me? I think you might be onto something here." And so that was in the September, and I talked about it with our chair, Matt King, and he said, "You should talk to Matt Bird because he's got a book writing course." And I think we spoke fairly soon after that, and put me onto the course to start in January, and not looked back since.
Yeah. So I mean, you wrote your book in the 100 days, as you know, is my
Yeah.
pledge to help people do. Were you surprised by what you achieved? What was your experience like?
Well, I was astonished. I really was astonished. I think the framework of the course is really helpful. Essentially, I think the program is, we learn the principles in the first 4 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, and then we write for 6 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah.
Learn the principles 2 weeks, write for 6 weeks, and then 4 weeks to edit. And to write a 30,000 word book, it's 5,000 words a week. But I got so into it that I think one person turned up on the first day and they said, "Oh, I've written 8,000." And I'd written 5,000. And I was like, right, I'm going to compete with this. I want to do better. And so the following week, I'd written 12,000, and they'd got another nine or something. And, got to nine. But what was good about it, actually, by the end of the process, I'd written a 40,000 word book, which I couldn't quite believe had happened. And yeah, it really was motivating, encouraging to have a wider community that were on the same journey as me to riff off and learn from. And yeah, I was amazed to get it done in time.
Yeah, yeah. And now Kick's story is globally
Yeah.
published. I mean, how does that
Yeah.
make you feel, Matt? Joe, even?
Well, yeah, yeah. Just going back, to my initial thought about writing a book, a bit terrified. It's one of those things. But I have to say, I found writing the book a therapy. Processing the stories and testimonies, essentially other people's stories, let
Yeah,
alone my own, and some of the spiritual lessons that we learned from God as we went through the journey, was a real therapy to me. It really enriched my soul, and I found it astonishing. And so to have the book in my hands is a very special moment. I can't quite believe it. Terrified, excited, quietly excited, and 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 really hopeful, I guess, would be the feelings that I have about having the book finished
mm,
and ready to be shared. I'm
yeah,
just hopeful it will build God's kingdom and be a witness to what He has done at Kick
yeah,
over these years and what He's taught us.
yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you, what do you hope is the specific impact of the book?
Yeah, well, look, our mission at Kick is to transform young people's lives with God's love through sport and support. And our vision is to reach a generation of young people within a generation of time. So my hope is that this book will be a memory of the past, of what God's achieved to date, and also a platform for the future, for us to execute our mission and our vision, to make a difference. And I, my hope is that the readers are inspired about youth ministry. I hope that new staff that join KIC, as well as alumni and present staff, are encouraged and inspired about our ACE2 values, and why those are the DNA of who we are as an organization, and and that our Christian ethos to follow Jesus' example in the way that he loved young people and was relevant in the way he communicated with them really sings through the book and inspires those that know KIC and those that have never even heard of KIC,
Mm.
to, to to walk in Jesus' footsteps and give him the glory.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. And Matt, your board chair of the charity, I think
Yeah.
was quite impressed by the story too.
Oh yeah. Well, what was lovely. I asked 40 different people for case studies, and this is a Friday night about 5:30. And so I sent out these emails and I said, look, you've got 3 weeks to get back to me for them to go into the book. We'd love you to do that with present staff, trustees, former trustees, churches, schools. And Matt returned his in 14 minutes. And it was the longest, it was twice the length that I requested, but it was inspirational. And I obviously, in writing the book, you're nervous about other people reading it. Is it good enough? Are they going to think I was really boring or tiresome? But he read the book, I, and he said he messaged me back saying tears were streaming down his face. He found it so overwhelming and and exciting and all that kind of therapy stuff that I was talking about in terms of just reflecting on what God has done. I've only been here 10 years. Matt has been here nearly 20 years. And for him to see these stories captured and not lost, was very, very precious for him. And so I was thrilled to hear that it meant something to him. And again, that's what I wanted to do, is to pull on the heartstrings and remind people of God's greatness.
Mm, mm, wonderful. Well, thank you, Joe, and thank you all for listening to the PublishU podcast, featuring
Thanks.
really genuinely life stories of authors from around the world. And if you're interested about becoming an author like Joe, please visit our website, www.publishu.com. Publish the letter u.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye for now.